Wherever you go in this country, you are met with evidence of ancient history and the sense of inns and markets. Armies, caravans, nations, and various races passed through here. Here, civilizations were built that filled the world and captivated people. Bukhara. On the banks of the Zarafshan River, it stands tall, telling the story of the greats that passed through it, or were born in it, and carried the torches of Islamic light. It is one of the greatest, most revered cities from beyond the river. It is the most ancient Islamic country in the heart of the Asian continent. It is the mother of sciences and arts, as well as the homeland of many Islamic scholars. It is a travel destination for students of knowledge and faith from all over the world. It is the city of Bukhara in Uzbekistan. Most Muslims know it as the birthplace of Imam Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari. It is also the home of the famous scholar Ibn Sina, who laid the foundations of modern medicine and authored more than 200 books in medicine, physics, and philosophy. It was one of the most important centers of Islam during the Middle Ages. After the Muslims conquered it, with the efforts of the leader Qutayba bin Muslim al-Bahiri in the year 709 AD. For centuries, it was the cultural and political center of Central Asia. The city of Bukhara occupied an interesting geographical position in the opinion of the conquering Arab Muslims. This is because of its proximity to Khorasan. It had a unique position among all the cities and regions of Central Asia in particular, and eastern regions in general. From it, the roads extended to the east, which were accessed by the countries of the Turks. Ancient merchants would pass through it. Islamic belief and geography were the two factors that have contributed to the important historical role that Bukhara played in spreading Islam and Islamic civilization over a long period of time. The city of Bukhara was established centuries before Islam. Its name in Chinese was Numi. The reason for calling it Bukhara goes back to the Turkish Mughal word, Bakar, which means hermitage or monastery. There was a large Buddhist temple in the city before it embraced Islam. It is possible for that to be the reason why it was called Bukhara. The more correct and common claim among the people of Medina is that the name is derived from the word Bukhar, which means an abundance of knowledge. It was known by this name due to the large number of scholars that hail from it. You can't help but be in awe when you are standing at the city wall, whose history spans over 2,500 years. It stands tall and magnificent. The wall stands magnificently, telling the tales of those who destroyed it throughout history, with the people of the city restoring it every time it was damaged by invaders who took over the city. The wall is high and impenetrable. When you approach it, you will feel feelings that vary between pride, sorrow, nostalgia, and intrigue towards what these stones will tell you about the great people who passed through here or were born within the city that it surrounds. When you enter the Great Gate of the historic city, the tour guide, a local of Bukhara, claims with pride, "You are passing through a gate that was entered before you by Alexander the Great, Qutayba bin Muslim al-Bahari, Genghis Khan, Tamerlane, and the rest of the invaders and leaders who immortalized their name in history. When you realize this, you can only stand there for a while, regardless of what you wanted to do, as you relive those memorable moments. If you are fond of the events of the time and the course of days, you find yourself sighing." This city, besides its Arab and Islamic civilization, was distinguished by its unparalleled structural beauty, as it is more similar to a large museum that combines multiple and different histories and heritage over different eras. Due to a large number of archaeological monuments in the city, it was called the Museum City. As you wander around it, you will feel as if you are actually inside a large and rich museum. Registan Square would appear to be at the center of that museum. The main historical architectural complex, Pyo Kalyan, is located there, which includes 3 buildings dating back to the 12th and 16th centuries. The first of these buildings is the Kalyan Minaret, which means the Great Base. It was not only used to raise the call to prayer for the 5 daily prayers, but also to express the strength and greatness of the spiritual authority that the city of Bukhara enjoyed at the time. The minaret is located on the road to the 4 markets in the heart of the ancient Bukhara city. It is one of the most important tourist places in Bukhara, which expresses the historical and civilized front of the city. This is because it is nearly 1,000 years old and contains many Islamic drawings and inscriptions. The minaret, which is known as the Kalyan Minaret, was built in Bukhara in 1127 AD by the order of the Karakhanid Sultan Salim Khan, who was ruling the country at the time. The order to build the minaret came simultaneously with the construction of an Islamic complex that contained many schools and places of residence, as well as a mosque and many other facilities. The minaret is distinguished from others in that it has a unique design, other than that which is seen in old Islamic architecture. Its shape, which narrows as it rises to the top, and the windows at its end, as well as the crown that adorns its height, which is 46 meters high, make it a distinctive Islamic landmark. The minaret is linked to the Kalyan Mosque by a bridge, which was built for the first time in the year 1127 and was destroyed by Genghis Khan. It was reconstructed several times. The most successful iteration was built by Sultan Abu Ghazi in the year 1514 AD, at the beginning of the rule of the Shaybanids in the 16th century. It is the second largest mosque in Uzbekistan, after the Bibi Khanim Mosque in Samarkand. It can accommodate more than 12,000 worshippers at the same time. It was built according to the style of architecture that was present during the rule of the Tamerlane dynasty. It is a rectangular building with 228 domes rising above it, and they are covered with large blue and cyan mosaic drawings, and they are situated on 208 columns. There is a courtyard surrounded by 4 iwans in the middle of the mosque. The main iwan is surmounted by a large ornate blue dome, and it forms the entrance to the main hall of the mosque. There is also a large mosaic gate. This mosque was the congregational mosque in which Friday prayers were held in Bukhara until a recent era. If you would like to take a picture of the city of Bukhara, then the mosque must stand out in it, with its main blue dome, which rises above the mosque to form, along with the minaret, a wonderful sight that we rarely see elsewhere. The third building is the Mir Arab Madrasa, which stands in front of the Kalyan Mosque. It was built during the years 1535 and 1536. It is said that the religious person who financed the construction of the school had to sell off 3,000 Persian captives to provide the necessary funding for it. It is the second largest school in Uzbekistan, and it continues to function as a religious school to this day. The Mir Arab Madrasa occupies a rectangular area extending about 500 meters from east to west and about 300 meters from north to south. The school consists of a courtyard surrounded by 4 corridors divided into 2 floors. There are square rooms that bear domes on top of them in the corners of this building. The Qibla Iwan is decorated with a group of mukarnas, kashani, and hollow windows. The Qibla wall has mosaic decorations that form star-shaped designs that are white, blue, green, yellow, and black in color. The main facade of the school is in the eastern facade, where there are 2 towers on either side of it, slightly higher than the facade itself. These 2 towers' base diameter is greater than the diameter of their roofs. This further reinforces both the towers and the corners of the school. Near the southeast corner of the school is a square mausoleum topped by an elongated dome that is decorated with tiles and ceramic mosaics that are predominantly blue in color. This elongated dome has Quranic inscriptions present on it, and they are written in white on a blue background. The top of the dome is covered with blue tiles. Shaykh Ubaidullah al-Yamani, known as Mir Arab, the founder of this madrasa and who taught in it alongside many Sufi sheikhs in his era, was buried under this dome. Discussing these schools can go on for a long time. Archaeological evidence found in the city of Bukhara indicates that the educational movements and establishments of schools flourished in this area. There is also the Madar Khan school in the Gush complex, called Madar Khan, or the Mother of Khan. Prince Abdullah Khan al-Shaybani established the school in honor of his mother in the year 1566 AD. The school occupies a rectangular area. Its length from east to west is about 300 meters, and it is 200 meters from north to south. It consists of an open center courtyard surrounded by structures on all sides. The eastern facade is the main facade, and it extends about 200 meters. Its height is about 16 meters, and in the middle of it is the entrance block. It is taller than the facade, with its height reaching about 23 meters. Underneath it is an entry knotted with a pointed arch that leads to the entrance of the school. The rest of the facade is occupied by entrances with pointed arches. The windows on this side open up to the street. These entrances have been decorated with ceramic tiles and mosaics that include floral and geometric motifs, and white inscriptions on blue backgrounds. The other 3 facades open to the outside with windows without entrances. In the 4 corners of the school are towers. 2 of them are on either side of the main side of the structure. They are covered with ceramic tiles and mosaics with colorful geometric motifs. The other 2 are without earthenware cladding. Upon entering the school, you will enter an open courtyard surrounded by units on all sides. The units on the eastern side consist of 2 large halls. Each hall is expanded by 4 iwans on its 4 sides. Each hall is covered by a large elongated dome, with Quranic inscriptions present on its ceramic tiles. The tops of the 2 domes are covered with blue ceramic tiles. One of these 2 domes was used as a shrine for the mother of Prince Abdullah Khan. As for the units on the western side, there are large iwans with a prayer area in the middle, with a number of small halls on either side. There are 2 large halls on either end. Each hall is expanded by 4 iwans on its 4 sides. These 2 halls were used for teaching seminars. The northern and southern sides of the courtyard have rooms open up to them, with knotted entries that lead to the courtyard. These rooms are on the northern and southern sides of the courtyard on 2 floors. They were most likely intended for students to reside in. Some of them are facilities and storage areas for the school. The third school that will impress you is the Kokaldosh School, which is attributed to Prince Kolya Kokaldosh. He established it under the patronage of King Abdullah Khan al-Shaybani, ruler of Bukhara in 1568 AD. This school occupies a rectangular area, extending 400 meters from east to west and 200 meters from north to south. It consists of an open middle court surrounded by units on all sides. On the northern side and on the western side, there are 2 prominent blocks from the school. In the 4 corners of the school, there are 4 minarets. The eastern facade of the Kokaldosh School extends about 200 meters, with the middle of the entrance block rising about 10 meters from the facade. It is about 25 meters high, and the entrance opening can be found in the middle. It is made with a pointed arch, topped by a rectangular pad covered with hidden tiles that have Quranic writings on them. The facade, like the rest of the 16th century schools, was divided into entrances where the windows of the halls were open to. At the 2 ends of the facade are 2 minarets, covered with Kashani tiles, with colorful geometric decorations that are fixed onto a blue background. Each minaret is surmounted by 8 pillars bearing a pointed top. As for the rest of the facades, both the western and northern facades have prominent areas. The area on the western side has a washing area in its outer corners. It is covered by an elongated dome that is covered with blue ceramic tiles. The area on the north side is covered by 6 small domes. Its outer corners host 2 small minarets. The rest of the facades open to the outside with windows representing the facades of the halls and the students' rooms. Continue your way thereafter to visit the other structures, which are the mausoleums erected over the graves of prestigious men. The most prominent of these shrines is the shrine of Ismail al-Samani. It is one of the oldest domed Islamic shrines in the city of Bukhara, and it is called Durrat al-Sharq. It was built at the end of the 9th century AD. The importance of this structure is in the fact that it is a real mausoleum. Buried inside of it is its owner, Ismail al-Samani, the actual founder of the state of the Samanids in Transoxiana. He made the city of Bukhara his capital during his reign. It witnessed great prosperity in intellectual and cultural progress. The mausoleum is one of the masterpieces of Islamic architecture. It is built on bricks in the form of a cube engraved with ornaments, and it is even topped by a distinctive dome. Its walls incline inwards. On each side, there is a wooden door engraved with Islamic motifs, and above each door is a row of 10 carefully carved windows. Heat-treated bricks were used to cover the walls of the mausoleum from the inside and outside in a balanced and harmonious design, as well as unprecedented artistic arrangement. The entrance to the mausoleum is a semicircular arc flanked by 2 columns. At the top of the 4 walls is a frieze surrounding the building, divided into 40 small arches that are hollow and open. Each knot is surrounded by a rectangular frame. In addition to the decorative function of these knotted small openings, they also bring light into the area. These architectural methods of using heat-treated bricks in the construction and decoration of walls and in the construction of domes are considered brilliant innovations of the era of the Samanid state. It would then make its way to Central Asia and India, and would also appear in Iran in later eras. It is Bukhara, the greatest and most distant cities of Transoxiana, the most ancient country of Islam in the heart of the Asian continent, and it is the mother of sciences and arts, and the homeland of many Islamic scholars. Bukhara is a travel destination for students of knowledge and faith from all over the world.